Red, often associated with anger, with fire, with blood. During my research, I found out that the red lantern is the strongest color in terms of raw strength due to anger being such an easy emotion to tap into. That is why I got this ring, due to my immense anger and hatred over what Vincent did to me and his wife, alongside other factors. But just because I own this ring doesn't mean I have to use it. Sure, I could overpower Zareth, or even destroy him, but I fear becoming consumed by my anger if I went all out. When I transformed back in that rocket ship, when I went all out, it took a tremendous amount of willpower to hold myself back. It was so tempting to just punch a hole through his chest and end it there. But that's not the person I am, and I refuse to become that person, consumed by their own anger. The three of you are like a family to me. You mean the world to me, and I would sooner give my life to protect you than to sit back and watch you die like I did with Vincent. So that is the truth about my red lantern ring, Susan, and that is also why I hardly use it.
I see. Well, at least now I know the reason why, so that's good. Still doesn't explain the blonde hair that shows up at the points in the review, though.
Oh, that? Well, I'm not against letting out a bit of anger at points. So what you see in those reviews is like maybe 10% of my red lantern mode. That level of anger, I can control with these.
Oh, well that's good. But speaking of anger, I think it's best I accompany you for today's review, just in case things get hectic.
Translation: I really want to review this movie because Vic Mignogna plays Keldeo in it.
You know me too well.
That I do. But yeah, you can co-op with me on it.
Yay!
Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice. The 15th film in the Pokemon series, this film is an interesting one for me. Not only because of it being the 15th movie, but also because it was the final film I saw before making that abysmal top 15 list.
So wait, that means after today.
Yep, I can finally put that list behind me.
Well, I guess in that case, we should probably get started with the story synopsis.
Sounds good. So is this film better than the Victini movie? Is it worse? Will I make a billion jokes about Vic Mignogna because he voiced a character in this movie? Let's find out.
So after the World of Pokemon recap, we get introduced to our main lead for this picture, Keldeo, who is currently engaged in the training sessions with one of the Swords of Justice, Virizion.
What's a Sword of Justice, you might be asking? Well, simply put, the Swords of Justice are a group of legendary Pokemon that can use the move Sacred Sword, and it is composed of the previously mentioned Virizion, Terrakion, and its leader, Cobalion. So after the training sessions with all three members of the Swords of Justice, Keldeo asks to go and fight Kyurem, which is the final step in becoming a Sword of Justice, but is told no, with Cobalion stating that he doesn't understand the weight of the sword yet.
So later that night, Keldeo runs off and heads towards Kyurem's location.
Well, crap. Looks like we gotta go after him. Virizion, activate our hyperspeed.
Sorry, can't do that.
Why not?
We ran out of minutes we can use it for. So Keldeo arrives at Kyurem's location, and the two begin to fight. The Swords of Justice eventually show up, but by the time they arrive, they see Keldeo getting dominated by Kyurem to the point where Keldeo loses his horn with one Shadow Claw. Damn!
So because of this, Keldeo gets scared and is unable to fight. Terrakion and the others try to stop the match, but then get frozen in place by Kyurem, turning into White Kyurem.
You know, for Swords of Justice, they really do suck at dodging, don't they?
Well, whatever. It gets them out of the film for now. So with his allies frozen, Keldeo decides to run away, but Kyurem isn't happy with that and leaves the area to pursue Keldeo.
We then get over to Ash's group, heading to Roshan City for what reason? Seriously, I don't think they say why in this movie. What the hell? And we get to listen to the full version of Rival Destinies theme, and to be honest, it's not that bad. Sure, some of the lyrics are kinda odd. You're my right hand, you're my left. What? But outside of that, it's fine.
After that scene, the three of them reach a train station and get these Darumaka boxes before heading back onto the train.
Without paying for them. Yeah, screw your business. I'm the main character, bitch. So after a scene where they get Scraggy back on the train, Keldeo slides down a nearby hill and lands on top of one of the cars. Ash and the others try to go to help him, but he gets antsy at first when Ash tries to touch him and nearly kicks them off the train.
So after that scene, Keldeo warns him about Kyurem coming here, and sure enough, he shows up. With Keldeo still weakened from the fight, he is unable to fight Kyurem and collapses.
Thankfully, however, our heroes have a stroke of luck hit them as the train goes through a tunnel, and Kyurem is unable to chase them for the time being. We then get an exposition dump from Iris, where she explains that Kyurem is able to combine the powers of Reshiram and Zekrom to become Black or White Kyurem, and then states that it is the strongest dragon type in the world, according to the Dragon Elder. So after they get away, Keldeo gets healed up, and we get another exposition dump, this time by Nurse Joy, about the Swords of Justice. things. Basically, a long time ago, there was a war between human factions, and it ended up resulting in a forest catching fire. Cavalian, Terrakion, and Virizion escorted the Pokemon to safety, thankfully. And as for Keldeo, he's being trained by them to become a Sword of Justice.
So after that explosion dump, Ash's group introduces themselves to Keldeo and then asks Keldeo about what happened. After doing so, and after a moment where he feels guilt over his allies getting frozen, Ash is able to convince Keldeo to go back to the place where Keldeo first challenged Kyurem and rescue them from their icy prison.
And of course, since they're the heroes and all, they decide to help Keldeo reach his destination. So we get a chase scene where they try to head towards said location, with Kyurem and his minions pursuing him at every point, and to be honest, I actually really like this scene. Not only because, unlike the last movie, it's not just Ash saving the day, since Iris and Silent play a big part as well, but also because it was genuinely exciting to watch. No joke. I liked the scene where Keldeo was using Aqua Jet to maneuver through that building. I liked the scene where Silent and Iris stooped Kyurem into having Keldeo with them. Yeah, it certainly does have its issues, like showing Iris's blimp get frozen and looking like it was about to crash, and then in a later scene still in the air with no issues. But outside of that, I genuinely enjoyed the chase scene in this movie, so good job, film.
So over with Ash and Keldeo, they are heading over to Kyurem's location, and we get a flashback of Keldeo training with his fellow Swords of Justice, while also talking about what he thinks of them individually. And to be honest, this is a pretty good scene. It not only reveals more about Keldeo's history of the group, but it also gives us a chance to find out more about the Swords of Justice in terms of their personality and relationship to Keldeo.
I agree, this was a pretty good scene. Hell, one of my favorites was with Virizion. I don't know why, but the lines, "Fear is your greatest enemy, you must conquer the fear that lives in your heart," and "once your fear is gone, you are free," really resonated with me for some reason. So yeah, kudos. So eventually, Ash and Keldeo arrive at Kyurem's mountain, and Keldeo is frozen in fear and can't continue. So what does Ash do? Heads inside without Keldeo to free the Swords of Justice.
Yeah, don't worry, Keldeo. I know you're terrified and all that, but don't worry. I, a normal human, will head in there and rescue your friends from a giant dragon. I'll be fine.
Yeah, because that'll help ease Keldeo's worries. And apparently it does, because after Kyurem tries to attack Ash, Keldeo comes in to save them and fights Kyurem once again. What the fuck?
Well, to be fair, David, there are multiple ways one can get over a fear. Sometimes being forced to confront your fear directly works. Besides, this whole journey did teach Keldeo something. He came back to save his friends. He's not running away anymore. He's going to fight Kyurem even with his broken horn. And once he realizes that he was never alone, he unlocks something deep inside him. His resolution.
Holy crap! That looks
Amazing!
hell yeah! And with this form, he's actually able to dodge some of Kyurem's attacks, and as the battle rages on, the other Swords of Justice get freed, and he finally lands a hit on Kyurem! Hell, despite Kyurem's attempt to freeze Keldeo, Keldeo breaks free of the ice, and finally unlocks Sacred Sword before proceeding to use to slam Kyurem into one of the pillars! Hell yeah!
Eventually, though, one of Kyurem's attacks gets redirected towards Ash's group, but instead of attacking Kyurem, Keldeo cuts the attack in two and gets caught in the explosion.
But despite this sacrifice, Keldeo is defeated. However, instead of killing Keldeo, Kyurem congratulates Keldeo on saving them instead of pursuing victory. But he's not the only one giving praise today. Cavalian also praises Keldeo for finally understanding the weight of the sword. But before this can continue, the area around them begins to collapse, and our heroes as well as the Swords of Justice escape the area, and then Kyurem uses his White Kyurem mode to refreeze the area.
So Keldeo becomes a Sword of Justice, expanding the group to 4, and the 4 then given out. The end. Roll credits.
So as a story, it's honestly just okay. I like the character arc Keldeo goes through, I like the interactions with him and the other members of the Swords of Justice, and I thought the dialogue was written pretty well for the most part. But alongside the other flaws I presented, one other thing that bugged me about this film was the lack of development when it came to the bond between Ash's group and Keldeo. I'm sorry, but it didn't really change as the film went on, so when I saw the scene where Ash called Keldeo a friend, it felt kind of odd for me because the two met less than an hour ago and they barely know each other. Hell, even Manaphy's film, despite my thoughts on it, at least developed the bond between May and Manaphy as the film went on. So to see a lack of development here was kind of disappointing for me.
As for me, I personally like the story. I loved Keldeo's character arc. I loved the interactions with him and Ash's group, and that transformation into his resolution form was amazing.
As for the characters themselves, they were so-so for me. Keldeo and the other Swords of Justice were pretty good. Kyurem was an okay antagonist. But as for Ash and his group, there's not really much to them. Sure, I did like that Ash and his friends got to play a big help in getting Keldeo to his destination, but that's really all they had going for them as characters in this film.
Well, hey, it's better than Ash is saving the day again, because I do recall you complaining about that in the Manaphy review. As for me, I thought the characters were pretty good this time around.
As for the animation, I think it was pretty decent. The lighting was pretty good, the character models were fine, the backgrounds were pretty good to look at, the CGI was decent, but the fight scenes were really well done.
I agree. This is probably some of the best fight scenes in the movie series thus far. The camera angles, the fluent animation, the effects during the attacks, that scene where Keldeo cuts the attack in two, it was pretty good. But outside of that, the animation for me was also pretty decent, so I guess that leaves music.
Yes, it does. But honestly, the soundtrack this time around is just okay for me. It certainly fits the tone and scene it was going for, but a lot of the tracks didn't come off as memorable to me, even after listening to the tracks individually, save for the ending and opening songs yet again.
I see. As for me, it's not the worst soundtrack I have heard, but compared to other installments in this series like Lucario or Manaphy's movie, it's not that great to listen to.
Fair enough. Well, I think it's time we wrap this up.
I agree. Overall, while it's not as great as the Lucario movie, I still thought that Kyurem vs. the Sword of Justice was a good movie to watch. It has a good story, decent characters, and some of the best fight scenes in the movie series.
As for me, I sort of disagree with that opinion. The characters are just so-so, the music is forgettable, and even the story itself is just okay. While it's certainly better than the Victini movie, I don't agree with placing it at number 5 on my old top 15 list. It's an okay film to me. Not a great film, but not a shitty one either. So that concludes this review. I'm the Mounty, and next time we meet, I will conclude the Unova trilogy with my review of Genesect and the Legend Awakened.
Take care, everyone.
So, you're the Violet Lantern. I came here asking for a favor. I wish to see the full power of the Lantern Red. Think you can make that happen, Lantern of Compassion? Excellent.